It's being recorded.
I need to, because in some reason Facebook is because somebody is texting me and saying I want to share this, but I don't see anything at all.
Ooh.
So for that reason we record it, so then it's always later on we can publish it online.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
If I could just quickly interject, I went onto your group's page and I've shared it from there.
Okay.
Onto my pages over here. So if you just say to people, go to the group page and share from there, that's worth a treat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I'm going to answer that. Perfect.
Yes. And you are going to text, and I will speak to you also. So you have to be multitasking now. But hey, you know,
I can do that.
It's gonna work out well. Danielle, you are a medium yourself, a healing medium, a teacher in healing mediumship, of a CSNU teacher. You are a trance medium. You are an all-round medium. And when you have started your training center, I don't know, a education center in 2015, then you became a teacher. Am I right in that? Yeah. And that's why the main goal of this evening is to talk about the purpose of training in mediumship, because all over the world there are a lot of ways to train in mediumship, but not all of the people know how important training is in mediumship, and because the perception is that it is a gift that is been born in mediumship. So thank you for that so we can share with the people, how it works and for who it is and what we can do with it. So that's my introduction to you. Everybody knows you very well as a president of the Spiritualistic Center Soul Connections.
It sounds so strange, president.
You're the president, but you're not alone in this.
No, that's true.
Because we have another president in our Zoom room. We have here Lawrence Savill from the UK, president of the Poole Christian Spiritualistic Church.
Good evening.
Welcome, welcome. And thank you very much that you want to join us in this conversation. We never met.
No, we are now.
Yeah, just 5 minutes ago. So I have a lot of personal questions, and some of them I hold with back, and some of them I think are interesting for the people, and not only in the Netherlands, but also everyone who don't know you, to ask you. But first, will you please introduce yourself?
I will. Good evening. Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me. One of the great joys of this time, we are able to link up anywhere in this world. We're able to shrink the world down now to evenings like this. So great pleasure, great honour to be asked. I am looking forward to it. I'm the president of the Poole Christian Spiritualist Church. I took over the role in 2018, as can happen in churches and centres as disagreements and things go on. And suddenly I just found myself in the role and thought, okay, what am I going to do? And then just when I thought I was getting a handle on it, 2020 came along and I thought, oh, right, we've changed again, have we? But we've really pushed through with the electronic side of spiritualism. I've got two churches, I always say. I've got my virtual church, but also very close to my heart as well is the physical church. The physical church is a great and thriving community. Right. We focus very much on education here at Poole. We had a wonderful bequest left to the church by a very dear friend of the church, which enabled us to refurbish the accommodation so that we can host our visiting mediums on site, which has made life so much better. A, because we're not paying £200 a night out for a hotel room, and B, I get to talk to all these amazing people and meet them and really just get involved. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's me.
And I'm just curious, you've become the president in 2018, but what is your background on mediumship, spiritualism?
Okay. My mother became involved in spiritualism when I was around 8 or 9 years old. She was a night nurse at a local hospital, and next to the hospital was a spiritualist church. And as you do find with people working in people's auric fields all the time, so we're looking at nurses, hairdressers, nail technicians, etc., you know, things start to happen and the inquisitiveness comes in. So my mother joined the church, and like a lot of the churches in the UK, they do struggle to find people going on the committee. And my mother's just telling me off, saying I sounded like second choice, so I'll just tell her to back out. But she became involved with the running of the church. Stop laughing, Diana. And of course, I was at that age where I couldn't be left at home. I don't know why. I don't know what I would have got up to, but obviously I wasn't trusted to be left at home. So I was dragged along to everything. So I was very fortunate. I had a good grounding in spiritualism. And at that time, we had what we call in the UK, the old school mediums. The generation of mediums who developed in like the 40s, 50s and 60s, really put in the groundwork. And then I got to 18, I moved away, moved up to London. I became involved in running bars and clubs and hotels, working in and around the London area, worked abroad for a short time, and then came back down here because Mum and Dad were both getting to the age where a third pair of hands would come in handy.
Mm.
And then after Mum and Dad went together very quickly in 2000, I remained on the committee. Well, I went on to the committee here at the Poole Church. I stayed involved with the church. And so, yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No.
Not really, no.
No, but it's very interesting and a very beautiful story, because we don't know that in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, there are no churches that wise. The religion, spiritualism, we try to bring it forward. Danielle, you have a whole nother story how you became involved. Of how do you find yourself in spiritualism? Can you please share your story so we can?
Yeah, I had never heard of spiritualism till I think it was 2008. I had a very sad situation in my life where I was grieving, and with my overall sensitivity, searching for answers, understanding what is the colors I do see with people, and why do I know things about people, and why do I feel that energy flowing through my hand, and why are people saying it's helpful. So within that situation, living in the Netherlands, living at the east side of the Netherlands, nearby Germany, very neutral people, raised up as a Catholic, but I didn't find myself completely within that religion, that I was missing something. And then suddenly someday I found a place with José Forschalk in Naarden for a 2-day workshop. And that was an amazing situation, allowing the spirit world, having experiences, talking to the so-called dead people, giving evidence. And I was, wow, what do I have to do now? And then I found on the internet the Art of Windley College. And I thought, okay, that's looking very much as the Harry Potter house. So if I have one dream, I really want to go there someday. And in 2012, finally, after doing some workshops in the Netherlands with some people known within spiritualism, but not understand anything of all of what the religion is, I was the same person. I thought mediumship is a gift. So I'm gifted. That's what I thought. I'm gifted. And I went to the college in 2012. And luckily for me, I was in a group with Glenn Edwards. And he brought me to the trance. And I screamed for 3 days. And I said to him, I don't belong here. I don't want to be here. And then he said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. And he said, no, I'm pretty sure you belong here in my group, but I give you the possibility just to stay for 3 days. And if you don't want that, you can go back to Paul Jacobs, because before I went to the college, I have met Paul Jacobs. And I said, okay, that's a good deal. So on the end, he was right, because I never left. And in that week, there was a physical seance with Scott Milligan, and José Medrado was there doing a demonstration of trance art. And so within that week, I was completely immersed in everything what was possible. And I went home, and I think for 3 weeks, being back in the Netherlands, I thought I was on Mars, because I don't understand anything at all anymore. Everything was gone. So everything I thought what was the truth in life was a rollover. So I made the decision at that time to become a member of the CSNU, the Spiritualist National Union, searching how can I fit my religion and God within the 7 principles, and does that fit within my background as a Catholic, and read a lot. And then I started my journey within the CSNU, and in 2020, I need to say that right, I finally upgraded my teaching in healing mediumship, because I'm a firm believer that everything I had done and see and experience, and all that context and all the healing within me, that all mediumship is about healing. So I thought this is the road to take. I thought mediumship and healing is at one, but I learned so much of all that courses that I'm really proud to say that I was the first teacher in healing in the Netherlands with my certificate. I was really, really proud. And then that real feeling of starting a church, becoming associated to the Spiritualist National Union, and create that community of spiritualism, more than only I am a medium, but the whole, that brings us today to the place that we are here now. And we do online divine services, and we have physical divine services. So in some way we could say we also have 2 churches, but all under one flag. And there is still so much to found and to learn and to grow, and I'm still learning within the Spiritualist National Union, as I feel that's my home on this moment of my life. So I'm upgrading things and going into my accreditation, speaking and demonstration, and having that plan for CSNU. But I'm still young, so I have all the time of the world.
Goodness. Oh.
So in one sentence, I could say that what brought me into spiritualism is that proof that a person from the spirit world is able to materialize. And thank God for me, I had Glenn Edwards that opened the door for me, as he is not in life anymore, but he was trained by Gordon Hickerson. And I feel really, really honored and blessed that he came on the road and that I'm still here now.
Much has been said. 2 different, very different kind of stories to become a president of a spiritualistic church. You both share the same role. 2 completely different stories. I hear you both say a lot about a mediumship, and I want really to take it a step back, especially for people who don't understand what the inhoud, the purpose is, and what it exactly is. So please, Laurie, can you explain what is mediumship? Yeah. What is it?
Good question. Very good. The actual definition of a medium is that interface between 2 substances. We have got very accustomed now to just saying, oh, a medium, meaning somebody who will demonstrate the continuity of life. But with the expansion and working into the education side, I did a lot of work on deconstructing some of our language to call people evidential mediums, philosophical mediums, healing mediums, whatever, to start help people to pull things apart, and so we can look at things in a little chunk. So again, a medium is that interface. How that connection works is entirely between the other world and yourself. It may be just purely for yourself, which is beautiful. It may just be that awareness, that closeness, maybe the senses of knowing spirit is close by, purely for yourself, not to stand up, not to get validation from others, just to be yourself. Because at the end of the day, the spirit message to us is, life is for living. Life is, we talk about spiritualism and the people that are talking to the dead.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. But it's not about the dead. It's very much about the living. It's very much about this life. So a medium is that person who, however their abilities work, I love Daniela's phrasing there when she said the word gift, because I said,
yeah,
we do. Oh, why are you special? No, we're not special. We've worked hard at our art. We've been in the right place. We've had that assistance. The spirit side of life maybe has seen things potential within us, so we'll just maneuver.
Yeah.
It's funny, Daniela was talking about Glyn Edwards, because we've just had a big weekend here at the church, and one of our demonstrators, Mark Stone, was a very close friend of Glyn's. So it was just lovely. When you just said him, I went, oh, hello, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Marvelous.
Oh, marvelous stuff. And this is it. This is how our mediumship works. Yeah, we are used to and accustomed to standing on a platform, bringing through that evidence. And I mean evidence. We don't do the phase stuff. We do the real evidence. And people should walk out of our churches and centres going, how does that work? Because once we've had that evidence, what we do tend to see within the movement, and I will talk from the UK perspective, is people continue to go back for readings, continue to go back to demonstrations of evidential mediumship all the time, which is fine, absolutely fine. If that's their path, that's not a problem. But it should inspire people to find out more. And then once you do get that cinching proof through mediumship that we do not die, we change conditions, we have a slow blink on this side of life, and then we open our eyes on a completely new world with limitless possibilities. People should start going, well, how does this work? Why does it work? Get into it and find out. I'm hugely envious of Europe. Because when we went online, we very quickly made some fantastic friends across Europe. The wonderful Jack from Denmark, he is I think there's a soul system thing going on there. Wonderful, and his partner Lola. Frederick Hagland up in Sweden. Dr. Berendt from Germany, wonderful man, and hopefully I'm going to meet him on Thursday in London. How amazing. But as I say, I'm envious with the European, because we've got the UK model of spiritualism. Now, we never realise in the UK that where I'm sat now, a 7-mile radius, there are 5 other churches. We never realise that in Europe you don't have the churches. You may have the odd centre, but you don't have the churches. So I think Europe is on the cusp of real progression, real bringing this home. When you said it was 2021 you set up your centre?
Yeah.
That just backs it up. That just backs it up, because we've gone online. People are going, wow, this is interesting. So you're in this really enviable position of starting out the movement across Europe to be more recognised. And you can look at the UK for what we do well and also where we could improve. So you've got that model there. And as I said, I'm jealous. I want to be German, Dutch, French, or whatever at the moment, because I want to be out there. You're the new frontier.
No, because how you say it now and how you explain it now, I get really a sense of, oh my God, we're the
pioneers.
Now, yeah, that's a big word.
Because, you are.
we can set the tone. We
Yeah.
can set the tone. We can share the inspiration. Danielle, you had your training in the UK. What Laurie is saying now, how do you look at this? The pioneer, being the one who shares spiritualism in Europe, and the tradition you hold, I know, because you find it very much important where spiritualism came from. How do you see this?
I can only say that the importance for me was to get my training in the UK, as I was really, really not only amazed by mediumship and training, but I was inspired by the religion. I told you many times how often I really fought, is that the right word? Fight with the Ministry of Angels within my own feeling and sensing. And then being in the Netherlands, yes, we do have mediums in the Netherlands who have been to the Art of Findlay College, but finding someone who could explain to me how the involvement of self is so much more important than standing up and I am able to give evidence and give a message. That's why I choose to go directly to the UK, because the foundation, America was a little bit too far away because I'm a little bit afraid of flying for so long. So I decided to fly to the UK. But I needed to become spiritualism, to take that back home and find a person like you, Diana, to really bring forward that it is not only the mechanicals of the training, but that the essence is more about what Laurie is saying about life and how to live life. And I don't care if you don't want to be medium, but if you are lucky and you feel the presence of the spirit world and you have a sense of a feeling that there is life after life, and that gives you the opportunity to live this life in a happier place with everything that is going on, I am really happy that I went to the UK, but thinking of the words being pioneers for spiritualism in the Netherlands.
No pressure, no pressure, no pressure.
That's really heavy, but we know what we are doing and why we are doing it. And yes, I'm absolutely proud, Diana, that what we have done and where we worked for, and that we were accepted as an associated body, because we are the only place on the end in the Netherlands on the moment. And I know that there is an associated body in Italy, but there are so much things to do. And I only hope that the inspiration that we bring into Europe to stand for spiritualism, that it is just a stepping stone for the rest what will follow. Hopefully we will have that situation that we have around 5 churches.
But maybe my question now is a little bit of, how do you call it, flat. But mediumship and spiritualism is about life, that we are agreeing on. And that is what the spirit world and God reflect. So if you this conversation is talking about the purpose of training in mediumship. And then if it's on about life, how do you train for life? How do you see training, not yet only the purpose, but how do you see training in mediumship, Laurie? How do I get there a sense of image in my head for?
Yeah.
Do you understand what
I do?
Oh,
I
okay.
do, I think. If I give you the answer and you're sat there going,
no, next.
The whole purpose of our education is to firstly, enable, this is something people tend to overlook. The mediums, no matter what field they're working in, tend to be focused on their work of going out to churches, centres, demonstrations, etc. And sadly, sometimes we get the situation of, well, I'm getting bookings, so that's it, I'm there, I've reached it, you know. It isn't. It's a continual process. The wonderful thing about our mediumship, and no matter what form that's expressed, it gives us a wonderful chance to explore our vulnerabilities, It gives us that chance to note things, how we are, how we behave with other people, how we talk to other people, how we look at ourselves. That's always the biggie. How we are looking after ourselves, how we think of ourselves. And that is the basis. That gives you a solid bedrock, a foundation to build and build upon. And this is where the education becomes so important, because as you go through that process, you will then be discerning of the training and the education that you receive.
Discerning.
Critical.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. We've all had it, you know, we see workshops and events being advertised and just think, well, you know what, I have no interest in that. It's not for me. It's because I know myself. I know what I will go into with a very open and eager mind, and other things, if I'm forced to go in there, I'll be sitting there thinking, is it 4 o'clock yet?
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, the education side, because, you know, when we go out and when we interact with people, no matter how it is, whether we're presenting ourselves in events like this, in person, just talking to people, you know, just talking to people in the supermarket and things like that. If we can put over a logical and an educated conversation, people will be attracted to that. But if we stand there and just go, oh yeah, I talk to dead people, you know, my mother had it, so I've got it, and it happens all the time. People will go, oh, okay. How quickly can I get out of this supermarket?
Yeah. Ooh, someone special now. Bye-bye.
Yeah, there is that side of it as well. I'm special.
We know all about that. Yes.
Right, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could I ask a question of you two lovely people? I know through my contacts with Jack up in Denmark, who's the head of the Danish Spiritual Association, I very much got the impression that the perception, the understanding was very muddied between psychic work, between spiritualism, and also spiritists.
Yeah.
So is that similar in Poole?
I think if I look back into the years of teaching, not only mediumship, but the whole, that there is another aspect in the Netherlands that psychic, so intuitive work, have been seen in the Netherlands for ages as mediumship.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of work still, also to get the scary stories of the spirit world, the spooky stories, and spiritism is a whole different aspect of Allan Kardec. Back to Brazil and in France. I think both of the religions are not much known in the Netherlands whatsoever. As many people who does mediumship are talking about the English way. So they're not saying spiritualism, they're saying English way of mediumship. Okay. So there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah. And all you pioneers, that's on your shift. You know what? Just before you came here, you were all upstairs and you went, Oh, do you know what? This looks fun.
Oh, I think I'm asking myself what they think in the spirit world. What we're talking about.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a little it's a yeah how do I say it? So sometimes it's a little bit difficult as well, because not only we have to put out spiritualism, not only we have to put out mediumship, the definitions of it. There's a whole nother perception of mediumship and spiritualism here in the Netherlands. Danielle is talking about psychic work, as what you've asked, and what I find sometimes a little bit challenging is we want to have the psychic work more away from the mediumship word. But on the other side, it all starts with psychic work, and it's very important for the development of mediumship. So it's always schipperen, being in the middle of it. How do you teach psychic mediumship? How do you teach mental mediumship? Where are the common facts? What is spiritualism and why is it so important? So it's a whole bunch, it's a whole lot of new information. So people do have to take longer the time to understand the whole picture. I find that sometimes very difficult. In the UK, it's settled. And that's what I heard in an interview, that if you talk about mediumship, training in mediumship, spiritualism, that even in the UK, it's not all accepted. It's not all open to talk about. Is this true? How does it go in the UK?
When spiritualism first came to the UK, we had the big influx of people coming over from America, where it had really gained momentum, and it very quickly picked up a huge following in the UK, and it was about mental mediumship. It was about physical mediumship of the time. You know, the spirit world were trying to attract people's attention. So are they going to attract people's attention by giving messages, or by floating somebody out of a window and then floating them back in the other window? And they went, you know what, let's float them out the window because that will grab their attention. So yeah, spiritualism really took that foothold at the turn of the century here in the UK, and went from strength to strength. Now, what has happened, that psychic work being psychic was usually considered a very dirty word amongst many of my tutors of the time when I was starting to develop. And it's only really in the last, probably with the advent of being able to talk like this online, that people are actually sort of like starting to differentiate between what is psychic, and psychic's good. I love psychic side of me. I absolutely love it. I use it a lot in my healing. I also use it a lot when I'm dealing with people and they're standing there going, la, 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 and I'm going, yeah, that's not what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, now tell the truth.
Act number 5, yeah.
However, through the education, we've learned to, how can you stop doing something if you don't understand it? So there is that ability now to work with your psychic side and to, in your mind, you go, oh, okay, this is psychic because I feel like this when I'm doing. Right, now I'm into my evidential mediumship. Now I know, I feel the closeness, I feel the presence of spirit. I'm not reading somebody's aura. So it is, and we can do various methods we can do in our training, have psychic courses. We ran a 6-week course here a couple of years ago. We can bring it into our language, into the way we talk, to keep getting that message over. It's really good demonstrating. I've done it a few times and it's great fun. You won't say you're working psychic, but you will be doing a demonstration and you will give somebody a reading, a psychic reading, but you're not telling them that. And then you say to them, how was that for you? Was that a good reading? And invariably, a lot of people go, yeah, that was really good. I say, okay, now I'm going to invite the spirit in. And now I'm going to give you a mental mediumship reading. And then when you've done that and go, how does that feel? And you went, that was awesome.
Yeah.
They were here. And that's what we're doing. We're reuniting. I love one of your hashtag lines there, reuniting.
Yeah.
You know, I always say before a den of mediumship, you know, this is the miracle. We're all here. We've lost somebody we'd dearly love to. Well, this is that time to have that conversation. As I say, our language here in the UK has just got very muddied, and you can see some very competent psychics, but they're doing a demonstration of mediumship. So we need to start paring back to the bone a wee bit and just going, okay, it's not wrong. If you're going to put on a psychic night, absolutely great. A lot of people actually now want psychic readings over evidential readings.
Yes.
You know, so it's absolutely fine, but just be honest and truthful, and firstly with yourself. So you know, you've got to know the difference between, all right, I'm working in psychic, I'm getting that out of the aura, or hello, okay, let's party. But just keep demonstrating, keep pushing, keep that every service, every dem you do, get some nugget of education in there. And it's just like water on a stone.
Danielle, please respond. Please respond. But because this has to be an inspiring outlet.
Yeah, absolutely. If I am referring on your question on the beginning, how my journey went, become involved within spiritualism, I obviously talk about mediumship, but in that time when I was doing my education, I worked for 10 years on psychic TV. And I remember as the day of yesterday that the Dutch people who were going to the English way had opinions, because that's not mediumship, it can't, blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing television anymore, but hey, there's still a camera on my face. So that was something Glenn Edward said, I all see cameras with you. And I said, where? I don't see any cameras. It is my honest opinion is that not everybody is a mental medium. But I do believe that everybody can have that experience of feeling the presence of the spirit world. But my 10 years of doing psychic work helped me so much more to understand the difference of what comes from my intuition or comes from the auric field of a receiver, and that amazing presence of the spirit world. So I can only say this is the truth, but we need to be honest. I remember that we had an online divine service with somebody from Australia, and she was doing a contact, but she said, but this is what I get psychically from you. And I was directly typing to Diana, look, she's honest. So that's what needs to be honest, but don't throw psychic energy away, because yes, I think there was years ago, there was a a search they did in the Netherlands with a TV company about what people in the Netherlands need, 80% of the Dutch people are looking for a psychic reading to get answers about self, not about the future. Yeah, of course, there are people who want to know about their future, but want to understand, why do I feel like I feel? Why is happening to me? Can you help me? Can you get the doors open where I can't look? So if I'm looking in how we teach in the Netherlands, we start with your intuition, start to develop your consciousness, and sit, be still, go inside, then train your psychic abilities in different ways. And then we involving the spirit world within it. So you have all this aspect of understanding how the difference feels. Because in the Netherlands, people don't understand it, because they think somebody has the word medium on their head and you can see what you're doing in your bed at night, because that's the truth, Lawrence and Diana. That's what's happening in the Netherlands. Yeah. So I believe one of the most important part of understanding life is understanding self, and understanding your soul, and understanding your auric fields.
The setup of trading in the Netherlands, how Danielle is expressing right now, Lawrence, is that for you personally as a president of a church the way to go?
Most definitely. We working in conjunction. I'm going to keep mentioning Jack. All right, there's nothing going on here.
I will call him.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are you doing with Laurie?
He has an excellent 18-month, you could call it a mentorship scheme. And it's exactly the same way as Daniela was saying there. You start off working with your psychic abilities, get that grounding in, and then you will progress on to the evidential or whatever form of mediumistic work that you do. Because we need to know the difference. As I say, I love something you said there, Daniela. We're not all going to be mediums, but we can. I call it the awareness of spirit. And I say to people, we're not all going to be on the platform. If we were, there'd be nobody in the congregation to give a message to. It's simple as
that. Yeah.
That could be my words.
Crowded on the podium, yeah.
Oh, very. But we can help people to get that awareness. So many people, they have these experiences and they doubt. Oh, I saw a robin because I was thinking of my dad. Oh no, it's probably a coincidence. Oh, I thought I smelled cigarette smoke. Oh, I felt them. If we can help people understand just that awareness and take away the validation need, because we need ego to do our work as mediums, but we mustn't be egotistical. And that's where the balance needs to come in. But if somebody can just sit there and feel their husband just close, what more? I'm sure the spirit world's job is to get rid of us mediums and to get rid of churches. And so, sorry, David, but it's all right. We're safe in our lifetime. Well, this lifetime. We might have to come back and oversee the destruction. Anyway, never mind, but moving on.
I feel another topic is coming on. What we do next month. No.
Yeah. So yes, sorry, to go back to the question.
Yes. No. Because if it's, am I correct now that I'm hearing? So, training. We talk about the purpose of training in mediumship. So, am I correct in hearing that everybody should have training in mediumship to get that awareness of understanding your own truth and understanding self? Or do we have to put that on a parallel level of training for mediumship? So how do you see training in mediumship, the purpose of training in mediumship?
Which one of us?
Both. I
Oh,
think it's very, I think both. Laurie, your
very
guest,
fierce.
your guest, we want to know everything. So you're the experiencing one. Yeah.
Training has many different levels, as Danielle has experienced going up to the college and spending weeks and really immersed. You know, it's not come down at 9 o'clock, sit in the class, finish at 5 o'clock. You're in that presence from the word go. But we can facilitate that understanding of the spirit world on many different levels. We can bring that in with the philosophy that we share in our services to give people those thoughts to take away and work with. We can work with that on our awareness nights, where we may have different guests coming in talking about certain aspects of spiritualism. We can increase that awareness with our circle work. And something that's come in over the last couple of years, there seems to be an emphasis coming from the spirit world, talking about home circles again.
Yeah. Yes.
Not just in the churches, and just to sit for spirit. And I feel that is a good potential for people just to sit, because I always say spiritualism isn't something you read, it isn't something you watch, it isn't something that you talk about, it's something that you need to experience. And it's the experience of spiritualism. So if we can get people into that experience of it, to sit with the meditation and go, oh my goodness, there was all these people who started talking to me, or whatever, however that experience manifests. And that's what the spirit world want to do, because they're working with our senses. They're working with our emotions and our love and our energy. And to do that, we've got to mingle the two. We've got to have that bridge between the two and draw closer, closer, closer all the time. So yeah, education starts the minute we've got the world now in our mobile phones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is so much knowledge, but we've got to inspire people to go on that path.
Yeah.
And wherever they go with their education, whether they come to the UK, go to the college, go to the Barbanell Centre, the Arthur Conan Doyle Centre, I could reel off all these places, Poole.
We will come.
You are welcome. But yeah, to inspire people to find out more. Because do you know what our one product is in our churches and centres? In my opinion, in the UK, the one thing we produce for people, and that's hope.
Yeah.
That is hope. And we want to inspire people. All right, some people will go, yeah, well, it's not for now. That's fine. Other people will go and think, oh, this is interesting. This is piquing. You know, we can only put that food out on the tables. People choose to eat, great. If they don't choose to eat, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Yes, yes. I find it most inspiring to hear you talk about this, because that's the love we are missing here and that we wanted to present, because it starts with spiritualism. It starts to be the reflection of skills, of sets of skills that we can learn in this life to develop, to show our light, to show who we are. And I find it so very inspiring that's the common ground we wanted to set out here in the Netherlands. That the talk with someone, that the giving a hand, that is the mediumship. We have a lot of students in our center, Danielle, and we've changed it a couple of years ago of having an education of only the faculty mediumship, so okay, mental mediumship, here we go. Psychic work, here we go. Trance circle, here we go. All healing, education, here we go. But now it has changed, because we also, because of our own involvement and development within life, within spiritualism, within our knowledge and awareness, that it is far more important to know thyself, to reflect it, and to inspire, to set hope. And Danielle, you must confirm this. We changed our education in the center because we felt it was needed to do it another way. Yeah, to do it different.
As even if you are teaching for several years, and I was teach in the English way, so to say, as a teacher. But we need to not forget that even when you are teaching subjects, that you need to be attuned to the spirit world, what they want. And I said that to you, there is a missing link. I don't feel that the people that come to us, because I always say, if you come to me, there is a reason, because the spirit world puts you on your road. Because if you want to teach only the faculties of mediumship, you can find it everywhere. I'm not saying it's the standards we want, but you can find it. Because obviously the most of the people in the Netherlands think about, they talk to dead people. And I say that with all my love within myself. But let people explore, just explore this magical frequency of love. And just from my own experience, how much hope I got out of it, that I could get control back of my life. I never had the intention when I went to the Art of Findlay College to be a medium or to teach. And I in the week I went the first time to the AFC, I said to Glenn Edwards, no way I will sit and close my eyes ever, and that voice will speak to me. But it was just a fascination of hope that I thought my hunger needed to have some more. So not everybody who will come to a church or to a center or go to the Art of Findlay College or want to do a course at Poole Church or on the CSNUt or wherever will be like me, luckily for them, because one of me is enough, really. But if you can find that sparkle within yourself, and you maybe just for 1 week, and you will find that presence around you, I think it's my honest opinion, everyone should have a possibility someday, when you're ready, when you're really ready, to wake up, that there is so much more. But I also think if everybody is ready in 1 second, the spirit world has a lot to do with a lot of people. So we changed it because in some way the spirit world pushed back to just sitting. And since this year, or we started it last year, to go back into a circle and started a circle. And yes, I'm happy that Scott Milligan is a very good friend, and he's a very good motivation for me to do and to give words to what the spirit world is saying, but I'm not listening. to set back a trans circle. And there's a new circle starting in September, and it is really strange to see that just in 1 week, just 1 week, fully booked for a year. 12 seats are full and 12 people are ready to sit, just allowing. So it's the proof for me that what we have done to change it, to make it brighter and wholer and more depth within it, that's the right way to go on this moment. But we don't know what the spirit world wants in 5 years.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
It's always a surprise.
That's one word.
That's always a but don't you think life is changing? So if we're looking at a situation in Europe and the war and Russia and Ukraine and the prices and people don't know where they're going in life, it's normal that the door is more open to try to find a way within, even if they don't know what within is. So I believe that we are in the front of really, really new things to go, and that there is a new door open for the spirit world. Yeah. And I hope that everybody is open to explore. Just explore, because it's a journey. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had a talk with someone online, and we were surprised because the person said, I don't want to be a medium, but I want to take part of the journey of the soul. And that makes me smile, because that's it. And if you will find the spirit world and you will find it eagerness as what I have done, hallelujah, for you and for the spirit world. So it's a journey.
It is, and it is our journey.
Yeah, and that's personal.
Yeah, very personal. You said something there and I just smiled, because you said there's something going on and you changed it, and this is bringing back in that energy that I was talking about earlier, where you and others like you across Europe, you are the pioneers. You can try things.
Yeah.
And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, do you know what? Change it.
Yeah.
There's a reticence in the UK in some areas to change. We've always had this sort of battle cry in the churches of, we've got to get the youngsters in.
Yeah.
I always tackled that on 2 levels. Number one, instead of saying, how do we get more people into our churches? Why don't we start thinking, how can we reach out to more people?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle difference. And then number 2, and forgive my humour, it's all very well saying get the younger people in, but the minute you change anything, everybody was up in arms. So
that's true. Oh, yeah, that's really true. Yes. We have to do it differently, but if you do it differently, no, we have,
don't change it.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very naughty over here. I love change, and one thing I keep doing, and some people get it, and some people just get annoyed by it, is I keep changing the arrangement of the chairs in the church, so that people don't have their chair, because I always sit here.
So important.
So when I see that, I just go, okay, let's move all the chairs around.
Yes. To be comfortable, in yourself. Yeah.
We do have a lot of people in our movement who are very happy in their orthodoxy of the way they worship, the way they connect with spirit. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Equally, we do have to change. There's an old saying, if you stand still, you're actually moving backwards.
True.
Because everything else is moving forward around you. And we have to bring in change. We have to encourage When I used to say the younger generation, I was thinking about the 20s. Well, now at my age, the younger generation could be 45. That's absolutely fine. But we've got to be able to offer other things to other generations to appeal to.
And this
to engage with.
Because we do see here in the Netherlands that younger people, because we are over the 45, almost. Not.
Yeah.
We are over 45.
I was
I'm
just
commenting on that.
I was just thinking, oh,
where do we go with this?
Where do we go with this? But we do see that younger people like 20 and between 25 are very much looking for self and sitting. And we have people in the circle saying, I really don't understand what's happening because somebody came and talked to me in their sittings. But how amazing is it that these young people have a possibility, even if they don't want to develop further or involve further, can take that on board for the next generation. I was really, really jealous with the idea in my beginnings that there was in every village a church. I thought, how amazing would that be? How is it possible that we live 800 kilometers or something like that? There's only a sea in between. I know within my education in healing that you are able in the UK to be asked by a doctor to do a healing for someone on a prescription, a subscription. I don't know how you call it, the right word, but somebody can call a church and ask the healing leader, can you send me a healing medium? It's absolutely not acceptable in the Netherlands. I really couldn't understand it. How is that possible? Two countries so close with each other, so different. So let us just continue working and spread the word and give the inspiration, and those who want to listen and feel being inspired, being welcome, go by boat, go to Poole, go to Enschede, because that's also a very far place for lot of Dutch people, because we're more nearby Germany than nearby Amsterdam. But it's just a real beginning of something new.
Yeah, exciting, isn't it?
It's really exciting, but on the other hand,
no buts.
There is a but. There is a but. I believe that get a proper training for those who really want to be a medium and want to stand on the platform, that there needs to be standards before you put your name on the door. Because in my time, when you go to the college, there were people in the Netherlands who have been 1 week to the college, start their own practice and say, I'm a medium. And I could not understand that. So that's what I believe what we try to do, and to get good and qualitative mediumship. If you just imagine that old mediums, how evidential they were. I have seen Glyn Edwards working on the platform, and I watched 10 minutes with my mouth open, and all the streets and names and specific things. And I thought, holy, how is that possible? And that's where I believe that if you really want to unfold your mediumship, just stay within the circle of education or a home circle with practice before you're going out and say, I'm a medium.
The key to it is time.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't have the time.
Well, I always challenge that one. I always think you can find 5 minutes a day to meditate. Seriously, you can. But we now have our society is everything is instant. I can put the latest movie on the TV. I can phone up and have a pizza appear, and everything is faster, faster, faster. There is no fast track in developing yourself to become that vessel to go forward. It does not get fast tracked.
I call that McDonald's mediumship.
Yeah. Before we almost close, Laurie, you talk about the education and where it starts and where the priorities lies within education, the self-development, the philosophy within the education. Maybe it's an impossible question, but do you have? Will you? What do you want to say to the people who want to have an education or who are the teachers of today? What is most important to this time of a period we live in now?
Go to Jack.
Yeah.
Go to Jack.
Jack is watching.
Is he?
Yes.
Uh-oh, sorry, Jack.
Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack.
And Stephen Froland.
Jack, what do you do next month?
We've just had a weekend. I'm going to go off track slightly. We had a rally day on Sunday where we had 5 fantastic mediums give talks on different aspects of spiritualism. We had talks about philosophy, self-development, communication, consciousness. We even had a trance address so we could hear the spirit world.
Beautiful.
And Stephen was amongst them. So Stephen was sat here about 48 hours ago. That's why the whiskey cabinet is locked. All right.
I know
sorry,
Jack,
Stephen.
and I know Stephen.
Sorry.
He is beautiful, man, beautiful. But anyway, back. Sorry, Diana, I digress there. What would I say to people today?
Yeah.
Find yourself a teacher that you are comfortable with. You know, just because they may charge £500 or £1,000 or whatever doesn't mean they're good. Find yourself that teacher that you trust and learn and talk. We can go on. You were talking about Gordon Higginson. He's got many good videos on YouTube where his demonstrations were so evidential. It was like, wow, absolutely wow. But work on yourself first and foremost. Use meditation. Understand yourself, because that is the bedrock and everything else is going to get built upon. So we work through some of the deeper issues may come out later in your unfoldment, but just learn to sit, learn to be quiet, learn to be at peace with yourself. And the people in your field of friends, they've got to be people who trust and talk sense and are open to debate. If they say, oh, you mustn't have your legs crossed in a demonstration, well, why is that? How does that work with the energies? Things like that. But I feel the younger generations coming in now, there's quite an opening there if they start looking at metaphysics, which is very much the Americanized way. There's coming in a lot more the metaphysical side, because you're just talking about energies. And that tends to take out some of the complications. It's really good to learn. I was on that path with it, but I pulled back a little bit because the emotion side wasn't there. But understanding energies is a really good start. Really good start. And, you know, and just expect nothing, but be prepared for everything.
I'm just smiling.
And I gave Danielle a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm very my journey started with the metaphysical and science, and because that for me was that there was much more than only myself, my grief, my experience, my life, my birth of my children, my husband, and everything I explained and everything I experienced in life. And I used to say that I was very scientific. And yes, for me, that worked to understand there was much more. But I really confirm that there is missing the emotion, that there is missing the magical part, the experiencing as a human in this life, and that combined, that makes the magic. Because otherwise it's magic, but it's cold. It's cold because who am I talking to now? Am I talking to an energy that has an now I'm off track. I will get back on track. I'm so sorry. I will get back on track. Because and then I gave Danielle the look, because I said, Danielle, listen, I know it's about spirit. I know it's about spirit, but what is spirit? People here do not know what spirit is, other than a ghost of a dead person who's becoming a zombie on the poltergeist movies on the television. I said, please explain to the people what spirit then is, if they can't emotionally cope with what spirit is for you and what God is. So now I give Danielle a look, so you know, Danielle.
That's why we're working together, because I have a different, not a different look, because I understand everything.
We have the same goal.
I have the same goal. I only feel the connection directly emotional with the spirit world, and the scientific part, I know it, but I don't feel it. So, but I do believe to give people an understanding in the basis, to get rid of all the ghost and the poltergeist movies, that it is so important. And that's why we are doing things together. There is a reaction on Facebook I want to mention, because Jack is saying he loved the McDonald's mediumship expression. Do you want me to say something, Diana? Or...
Yes, please do. Please do.
About your question of 3 hours ago?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
At 9:15. Yes, but no. What do you want to share with the people who wanted to start and who are thinking it's not for them?
I think that's not reasonable, because that is your thought. Spiritualism, mediumship, healing, trance, sitting in the power, meditate, is for everyone. Because when you were born into your physical body, you got the spirit within you. So it's for everyone. But I'm only going to say that what Lawrence is saying is the truth. You need to find a place where you feel safe and where you just can trust to allowing the process to happen. And maybe you will cry a lot. Now, when you're coming to our center, we have a lot of tissues. But, you know, that's the process. And there is no rush. In some way in the Netherlands, there is an idea that development and unfoldment will take 3 years. And I remember, as the day is yesterday, Paul Jacob said to me, when I asked him, how long will it take that I stop crying? He said 8 to 10 years. I was very young at that time, and I thought, 10 years, so there is hope for me. But when I say that to people here in the Netherlands who have the age of 50 or 60, sometimes they run away because I don't have the time for that anymore. But know that involvement and finding the truth of who you are is endless. and will continue after life. So find a place where you can sit in harmony, where the right environment is able to be created, because your teacher will help to set up the power to have that experience. And if you are coming to a class or a group and you don't feel it, stand up, turn around and go away, because then there is another teacher. And one saying of Silver Birch, he said, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And Jackie Wright after that said, but when the student is ready, the master will disappear. Accept that. Don't stick on your teacher for 20 years, because you need to stick on the spirit world, because they are your teachers in the end. So I will rest my case for today. And I'm looking forward, Lawrence, to do this next month again.
Yeah.
No. I think if we took enough of your time now, because we're on an hour and 20 minutes further away. Is there anything? Is there anything I forgot? Of do you want to express some things on this subject that I haven't asked, Laurie?
I'd just like to say on the education subject, every single one of us, wherever we work, we go through continual development. We go on courses, we have interview, whatever. We're always progressing, and sometimes we tend to treat the spirit side of our life separate from our everyday life. It is no difference. You will sit at work, you will have your assessments at work. You will sit in circle, you will have your assessments with your circle leader. It's a perfectly natural flow. But that education is there. It is so much education out there, and good, solid, well-founded education. It will start when you start to think, you know what, life isn't just a series of things. There's a connection between it all. And when your mind starts to go, what is going on here? People will hear, and things will start to come into place naturally and for you.
Thank you.
All right.
So to the people, be curious about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where it all starts, because you're the connection.
It all starts and finishes with self. Because sometimes when we're dealing with people and we think, why are they reacting? You should be saying, what is it? Yeah. What is it in me that sparked that off? Yes. Is that something I need to improve, or is that a strength that maybe some people have difficulty with, which is normally a lot of people I talk to, sadly.
Yes, and also the phrase, you work with you need your ego.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be egotistic. That's not. So thank you for that also. Thank you for everything. So, Lawrence Savill, president of the Poole Christian Spiritualist Church, and the other one.
Brilliant.
And the other one. Thank you so very much for giving us the time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will talk to us another time.
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you so very much for your time and for your words. Danielle, of course, thank you. We go on and try to give the people, not only in the Netherlands, because I'm not giving my poorest English to only the Netherlands. We're trying to reach out to the world, to find your own spark. So thank you so very much for being with me in this journey, and for the people who are at home at the other side of the screen. Thank you so very much for listening to us. Maybe you see it on a different time. We've recorded it, so you can always look at it back. And please find yourself yourself through a good teacher, and never forget the best teacher is the spirit world. But before you can go there, you have to make that first step. So thank you so very much for this evening, and I hope you are all well. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.